Some of the best employees get laid off first. That sounds wrong because most people assume layoffs remove the weakest performers first. Sometimes they do, but many times layoffs are not about who failed. They are about what can be removed quickly, cheaply, and with the least disruption. That is why loyal, hardworking, and good employees get laid off. You can even be a top performer in a role the business no longer needs. And sometimes the people everyone expected to go stay. If you judge layoffs only through effort and fairness, they will always feel confusing because many times they are not performance decisions, they are business decisions. During layoffs, one question matters: who is hard to lose and who is easier to remove? Here are 5 groups that tend to be more exposed when layoffs happen. Group 1, low visibility roles. Some of the most vulnerable employees are doing useful work nobody senior really notices. These are people keeping things running in the background. Back office support, internal coordination, fixing issues quietly, preventing problems before they grow. Reliable people often sit in these roles. The problem is not that the work lacks value. The problem is that the value is easy to overlook. If only your direct manager understands what you do. That may not be enough when decisions move higher up, because layoffs often force leaders to choose based on visible impact, not invisible contribution. Sometimes the team that stabilized the mess becomes the team leadership thinks it can now shrink. And the instruction is brutal: reduce 30% of the team. No negotiation, it's just a number game. How does the manager choose that 30%? And ask yourself something simple. If your manager left tomorrow, who else could explain why your role matters? Visibility matters more than many people realize. Group 2, roles hard to justify. Another common risk is work that becomes hard to justify when budgets tighten, not because it is useless, because it is unclear. Maybe 2 teams are doing similar work. Maybe 2 people are covering one workload. Maybe there are too many approval layers. Maybe the role became expensive without obvious return. This often happens after growth periods, rapid hiring and mergers that bloated certain teams. When money is flowing, these things get tolerated. When pressure arrives, the real question becomes whether leadership can clearly justify keeping the role and the cost that comes with it. If someone had to explain your value in one sentence, could they? Group 3, roles attached to losing priorities. This one catches many good employees. Your performance is solid, your reputation is fine, but the project you sit on loses support. Funding gets cut and expansion stops. Leadership changes direction. A product line closes. A department gets merged. I have seen strong, loyal, hardworking people lose jobs this way. One person I knew was exactly that: reliable, committed, good attitude. But his project was cut, and the whole team went with it. Not because they were weak, because the priority disappeared. That is a lesson many people learn too late. You are not being judged. You are attached to the wrong ship. Sometimes losing the job says more about the business or project than the employee. Watch where investment is going. Watch which teams keep growing. Sometimes the smartest move is moving before you have to. Group 4, work that can be moved easily. Sometimes a role does not disappear because it failed. It disappears when it can be moved. Some work gets outsourced. Some moves to lower-cost countries or offshore centers. Some gets centralized into one shared team. Some gets reduced when software handles part of it. Artificial intelligence may not remove whole departments overnight, but it can reduce how many people are needed for routine tasks. This is especially true for repetitive work with clear rules that can be automated. The danger is that busyness can feel like protection. Someone can be overloaded every day and still be vulnerable. If your tasks were written down step by step, how many other places could do them? The harder your role is to replicate, the safer it usually is. Group 5, high-friction employees. This part people rarely say openly. During layoffs, companies sometimes use the moment to remove people seen as difficult to manage. Not always poor performers. Some are highly capable people, but high-friction people. Constant conflict, resistance to every change, and a habit of draining team energy. The kind of person who makes collaboration harder than it needs to be. The issue is simple. People do not want to work with them. In stable times, companies may tolerate this longer. During layoffs, tolerance often drops because if cuts are happening anyway, those names become easier to justify. Fair or unfair, it happens. Skill matters. But if people avoid working with you, that becomes a risk in uncertain times. If your team had a say in who stayed, would they choose you? Being someone others want on the team is more valuable than many people think. What usually protects people? People who survive layoffs are not always the smartest, most loyal, or most hardworking. Often, they are people who are known and trusted. People who solve problems, can move across teams, and are easy to work with. People others would gladly keep. When cuts happen, managers start asking practical questions. Who else can use this person? Who would be difficult to lose right now? That is where reputation and relationships matter. In uncertain times, people often protect people they trust. Sometimes survival comes down to whether multiple people want to keep you. None of this guarantees safety. Some layoffs remove individuals, whole teams, or even business lines. So this is not about guarantees, it is about improving your odds. Layoffs reveal something many employees are never taught. Effort matters, but effort alone is not the full scorecard. You can be loyal, hardworking, and a good performer and still go. Because layoffs often ask a different question. Not who worked hardest, but what can be removed with the least disruption. Work feels personal to employees, but many decisions are structural to companies. So do not focus only on being hardworking. Ask yourself a harder question. If your company had to cut tomorrow, would another team fight to keep you? Would your name come up as someone they still need? Would multiple people go out of their way to protect you? That is the real scorecard. Whether the people around you see you as someone they cannot afford to lose. Build toward that. In modern work, being good is the entry point. Being strategically valuable is the differentiator.